Cara aku mulai ya. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to begin, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this webinar. Kindly ensure your microphone in Zoom is mute to avoid interruption. Thank you for your keen cooperation and attention to this. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining for today's webinar on the topic Transformation of Export Flow in the Context of Global Food Crisis. And I am Novita from STEKOM University, will be your host for today. And welcome to our special guest today. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso as a Rector of STEKOM University, to the Honorable Mr. Ahmad Zainuri as a Head of Department Entrepreneurship from STEKOM University in Indonesia, to the guest speaker Honorable Mr. Abdullah Athar as a Senior Lecturer, College of Management Science from Pakistan, to the Honorable Dr. Zukime Junoh as a Research Fellow, Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability from Malaysia, and the last to the Honorable Mr. Setiyo Nugroho as a Lecturer of Computer Graphic Department from Indonesia. Thank you all for being here with us today. Also, thank you to all participants for attending this webinar. We hope you will learn a lot of today. We have planned up for you to be fruitful and engagement. Sorry. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes here. Today's session is being live streamed on Universitas STEKOM YouTube channel. Further, for the square of this morning agenda, we will open with the Indonesia national anthems and continue with the opening speech by Dr. Joseph as our rector, represented by Mr. Ahmad Zainuri. And after this session, we will go to time for the presentation by our special guest today. And after the presentation has ended, we will go to in Q&A session for all the audience. And then time is closing with a session photo together. If you have any question for the speaker, please add them in the chat, and we'll be able to answer some of the during the Q&A session after the presentation. And each presentation today will have about 30 minutes for the presentation. A glimpse of the agenda to the event, and to start the event, we will listen Indonesia national anthem. So for Miss Febri, the time is yours. Thank you. Thank you for playing, and we will go to the next session for the opening speech. But our rector today can join in this event, and for this session will be represented by Mr. Ahmad Zainuri as the head of Department Entrepreneurship from STEKOM University. Yeah, for Mr. Ahmad, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Novita. Can you hear me clearly, Ms. Novita?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Novita. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Januri. I'm head of entrepreneurship study program in STEKOM University. I represent our rector for today's opening speech because he was unable to attend this webinar international event. Okay, the honorable our speakers today, Mr. Abdullah Athar, Senior Lecturer College of Management Science from Karachi Institute of Economics and Technology, Pakistan. The Honorable Dr. Zukime Junoh, Research Fellow, Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability from Universiti Malaysia, Perlis. And then Mr. Setiyo Nugroho, M.Kom, as a lecturer of Computer Graphics Department from STEKOM University, Indonesia. And also the honorable all students and all audience. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, may I first take this occasion to pay tribute to all of the audience of this webinar international event with the title Transformation of Export Flows in the Context of Global Food Crisis, held by STEKOM University in collaboration with Karachi Institute of Economics and Technology and University Malaysia, Perlis. It is a great pleasure and an honor for me to deliver a welcome remark at the opening of this webinar international event. May I first take this opportunity to express my gratitude and appreciation as well as extend of a cordial welcome to all of the audience, in particular all the speakers of today's event. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our God, a blessing and mercy that we could assemble in this international webinar, Transformation of Export Flows in the Context of Global Food Crisis, the honorable all speaker guests today and all of the audience. Okay, I would like to say thank you very much to all of the speakers that you will present insightful ideas according to your field of expertise in this reputation. And it is a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this webinar international event. I believe that our speakers will improve knowledge and experiences all of participants and provide significant scientific contribution. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope through this webinar international event, we can get more information about transformation of export flows in the context of global food crisis. To conclude, I would like to extend my appreciation to the International Affairs Organization of STEKOM University for enjoy for the webinar today. Thank you so much. I will hand over this webinar international for today to Ms. Novita. Thank you, Ms. Novita.
Thank you for opening speech for Mr. Ahmad Zainuri. And then we will go to the next session. Now let's please welcome our first presenter, Mr. Abdullah Altar from Karachi Institute of Economy and Technology from Pakistan. Yeah, for Mr. Abdullah, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me connect the presentation. Thank you very much. May I start my presentation?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Respected teachers and my dear student, Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone. Today's topic of my presentation is transformation of export flows in the context of global food crisis. In this presentation, I will be talking about these topics. This is the content of my presentation. We'll first have some look on world demography, then food supply and scarcity statistics. Current means present and projected means future. Then we'll talk about WFP, World Food Program statistics, then the concept of global food supply chain, then causes of global food shortage, and then solutions to food insecurity, and three priorities. So I will touch these topics one by one. So starting from the world demography. So in the diagram, you can see you all are well aware that the total world population is 8 billion. And in 8 billion, in this diagram, you can see that population is in terms of continent. Asia is the most populated country, having the population of 4.56 billion. And in terms of percentage, Asia is bearing the burden of more than 50% of global population. Africa is the second most populated country, having the population of 1.21 billion. We all are from Asia. However, in terms of food unavailability, Africa is the continent which is hit most. Now, in terms of countries, in last slide I talked in terms of continent. Now, in this second slide, I am talking in terms of countries. So you can see that China is the most populated country, having the population of 1.4 billion. India is the second biggest, 1.3. USA 0.3 billion, Indonesia 0.27, Pakistan is almost 0.27 billion population. But another very important message which you can derive from this slide, that China and India are the leading populated country. However, their contribution in overall global food export is not significant one. Then I will share few data regarding the current food supply and scarcity statistics. Now, in this diagram, green column is representing food production, and orange column is representing food consumptions. And you can see that since 2013-14, production is more than consumptions. Means you are producing more than your consumption. But this data is global. It does not mean that there is no food shortage in part of the world. I will explain this concept further, but please do not derive the message from this slide that globally in all the countries sufficient food is available. Now, my next topic is top wheat producing countries. So you can see that China is wheat producing country, India is another wheat producing countries, Russia is another big countries, USA is another one, and Canada is also one. So, but very interestingly, role of China, role of India in global scenario is not significant one. Now, this data is showing the wheat production. It is not showing the wheat export. Now, when I talk to wheat export, you can see that Russia is the leading wheat export countries, 21,000 metric tons Russia export. Second is the European Union. Third is United States. Fourth is Canada, and fifth is Ukraine. So you can see that role of China and role of India is not so much significant. And second very interesting thing is that regretfully Russia and Ukraine, who are the top 5 wheat exporting countries, are fighting each other, causing a big crisis for the whole world. Now let me take a very close picture of the world. Now on y-axis side, I am showing million of people facing severe food insecurity, and this is represented by a dark red color, and orange color is representing million of people facing moderate food insecurity. So in terms of world, if you notice that million of people facing severe and moderate food insecurity globally, they are consistently increasing. If I talk in terms of continent, Africa is again exhibiting the same trend. million of people facing severe and moderate food insecurity is increasing. You can also notice the same trend in Asia, that number of million of people facing severe and moderate food insecurity, they are increasing. And surprisingly, that impacts, there's no significant impacts of food insecurity in Europe, the last bar. It means that North America and European people should play their very effective role in addressing this global crisis. Now, the most vulnerable countries among wheat shortage is generally the uh, uh, African countries, and Somalia is the most affected one among the African countries. There are various reasons: political instability, disasters, and so on. All these things are contributing and disturbing the situation in Somalia. And almost same trend of less magnitude is visible in other countries of Africa range. Now this graph is showing you the food price index, and you know that when quantity goes down, price goes up. So taking 2014 to 2018 data, 2014 to 2018 data as a reference, you can notice that there's a almost exponential rise in food price from 2018 till 2022. Now, in terms of global food insecurity, means million of people undernourished. You can see same trend that since 2018 globally, the number of people which are undernourished are increasing. Undernourished means that a person is not able to acquire enough food to meet the daily requirement. Now, to feed everyone, the world need to produce 70% more food by 2050 and another 100% more food by 2100, when the world population is expected to hit 10 billion. Our current population is 8 billion and it is progressively going towards 9 and then 10 billion. Now, then I will talk about a few data or statistics regarding World Food Program. Now, World Food Program is basically the world largest humanitarian organizations. This is operated under the United States, and according to their website, very horrible statement: 1 in 9 people, I have mentioned in red font, 1 in 9 people globally is still going to bed hungry. It means almost 11% of world population is hungry when they go to bed for sleeping. Now, WFP has made a hunger map and they have used the electric signals principles. The most affected area are represented by red color, moderate is by uh, orange color, and not affected by green color. So the cumulative effect is that 0.62 billion of total number of people are having insufficient food consumptions. And in terms of number of countries, 17 countries are having highest level of hunger. You know that total world population, total number of countries globally is 195. So 17 countries out of 195, almost approximately 20% countries of the world are facing high level of hunger. This is WFP statistics. So a few things about the supply chain and global supply chain. Global supply chain is defined as distribution of goods and services through a transnational companies or multinational companies network to maximize profit and minimize waste. In global supply chain, as compared to domestic supply chain, we have members who are operating in more than one country, multinational company, for example. So the global supply chain is essentially the same as your domestic supply chain, but it forces on companies or organizations that are transnational or multinationals. Now, global food supply chain can be described in most basic terms as production, processing, and distribution of food throughout the world. And it is meant to feed the world, reduce hunger, reduce malnutrition through trade by creating higher level of food availability, food accessibility, food utilization, and food stability. So global food system does not mean only the production, but it covers complete journey till its consumption as well. Now let's come to the topic, what are the causes of global food shortage and which factors are triggering these bad impacts? So based on various literature findings, I have noticed that these are few more noticeable factors who are contributing to global food shortage. The first one is climate change, which is also called global warming. Second is population imbalance. Third are wars. Fourth is crop failures. Fifth is economic failures. Government mismanagement is another influential factors. And finally, desertification or land erosions means land are unable to give you the crop is another factor. I will in the subsequent slides address all these points one by one. Now, a very important issue right now going on is present war between Russia and Ukraine. And Ukraine is one of the world's largest exporter of wheat. There are global food security concerns if Ukraine is unable to export grains. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has badly affected food supply chain with significant effect on production, sourcing means purchasing, manufacturing, processing, logistics means transportation, and significant shift in the demand between nations reliant on imports from Ukraine. Now again, Ukraine crisis is likely to push up the wheat price, and you can again see that Ukraine is the fifth biggest exporter of the wheat. We are repeatedly using a terms food security. Now, it is advisable that we all stakeholders should have the correct concepts of food security. Now, food security consists of three components. The first one is availability. Availability means you have sufficient quantity of foods. The second is accessibility, means you have adequate income or resources to buy the foods. And third one is utilization or consumption. It means having adequate dietary intake and ability to absorb and use nutrients in the bodies. Now, what are the solutions to this food insecurity? What action we all should take to avoid this bad situation? So I'm going to share 10 actions which upon completion will ease the situation. The first one is that countries should improve existing infrastructure programs. I mean that they should go for better farm practices, which give you better yield, better irrigation systems, optimum use of pesticides, and another point not mentioned here is better quality fertilizers. So all these things will give growth in your yield or output. Improve trade policies. This is another point that is affecting the or causing the food insecurity. In March, Russia, which is the second biggest exporter and contributing 17.5% volume share, they temporarily imposed ban on export of wheat. Now the same trend was then copied by Turkey. Now, right now, 22 countries, very big number, contributing 21% of world trade, has imposed wheat export bans. So these bans should be looked again by these countries on national grounds, that what consequences it is creating on global level. Another important thing is promote diversification. Regretfully, it has been noticed that in many countries, farmers are focusing only on those crops which are cash cow, money producing crops. They are not focusing on the basic or fundamental crops like wheat and rice. So in the countries, they should promote diversification in agriculture sector and promote and put efforts to first generate wheat. Another thing is close the yield gap. Yield gap means difference between current and optimum yield. So definitely, if you take all the recommendation in practice, so the yield gap will be reduced, your output level will gone up. Fifth is work towards defeating climate change, and there are various factors which are causing the global warming. The more noticeable factors are power generation by fossil fuel. Fossil fuel means coal, fossil fuel means oil, and fossil fuel means natural gas or methane. Another reason is poor manufacturing practice in factories, and factories are sizably producing solid waste, liquid waste, and various and gaseous waste in many sectors, in pharma sector, textile sector, FMCG sector. Deforestation is another very critical things that in many countries we are cutting the tree to get the land, and this deforestation is or we are cutting the tree to get the wood logs. So this deforesting is also creating a global warming impact. Now, transportation, traditional fuel is also generating a lot of carbon dioxides. Although world is slowly moving towards electric car or hybrid car, solar-based car, but generally right now, on global level, more than 90% of vehicles are still using traditional fuel, which are generating carbon dioxide. Pakistan also faced a global climate change, and we faced 2,000 deaths and $15 billion damages recently. And the reason of this change is two. Number one, glacier melting. In Pakistan, we have more than 7,000 glaciers located at north of our area. And due to global warming, these glaciers started melting and water and generating water. So these glacier melting resulted excessive waters, and this factor was coupled by excessive rains. So the two factor, glacier melting and excessive rain, caused severe impact to Pakistan economy. Uh, right now, in last month, there was a global international conference in Egypt that was attended by Pakistan as well, and now we are demanding environmental justice. And it is unfair that other people are disturbing the environment and we are paying its cost. Another very significant factor which can reduce the situation is investigating in the advanced technologies. We should use more and better chemical engineering. We should use better quality of fertilizer, better quality of pesticides, and similarly the tech machines which we are using either in production or transformation or transportation, these should be energy efficient machines. Food wastage is another very big issue, and it has been noticed that 14% food are lost between production and retail, means reaching to the shop, and another 3% food is lost globally when the food is taken by a user and it start consuming that food in their homes. So global food wastage is 17%, which is a very big number. Uh, uh, in terms of individual, I have the data that average globally 0.7. Okay. Then I jump to the next topic, education literacy. 87% literacy rate is globally. So we are far away from the 100. And again, literacy rate is very ideal in developed country, but still there are many gaps in remaining countries. And Mali is the most illiterate people, having 33% population there. But education, this education should be reflected in our behaviors in terms of foods insecurity, in terms of other things. We create 2 billion ton globally waste per year, 2 billion. And if I transform in terms of per person contribution, 0.74 kg waste is generated every one on this globe per year, which is a very big number, that we all are producing almost 1 kg waste per year. Another thing is the integrated water management system. You know that water is a very significant resource. Uh, it is said that 75% of the world is covered with water, but water quality is one issue, and water quantity is another issue. So both are two separate issues, and in many areas water is present, but that is in the form of ice. So that is not in the form of usable. And it is predicted that, again a very horrible sentence, 50% of the world population will be living in a water shortage area by 2025. So integrated and joint water management system should be adopted to avoid the food insecurity. Now, the three priorities which we should all focus is: number one, major grain producer must do everything they can to increase the food supply. Further that they should resolve the transportation bottlenecks. Further, they should release stock and resist in urge and resist in imposing food export restrictions. So this is priority number one. Wheat producing countries should play their role in a very effective manner, and they should try to improve the output, issues the transportation, solve the transportation issues, and avoid the trade restrictions. Second priority is from oil producing countries, and request to those countries is to increase fuel supply, because if you increase the fuel supply, so fuel costs will go down. When fuel costs will go down, transportation costs will go down. When transportation costs will go down, food price will go down. So oil producing countries should put efforts to increase the oil output so that oil price could go down. Now the third priority is the contribution of government, international organization, and all the private sectors to play their roles by various means. This issue is global. We all can suffer. So it is very much requested by all the governments, all the international institutions to address this issue. And the topic which our seminar going on is again very important. Now another very important thing is that the pandemic effect hit the poor and vulnerable hard and for much longer than expected. So people is already suffering due to pandemic, global pandemic of COVID, and food security is another issue. With this, I come to the last slide, that hunger is not an issue of charity, it is an issue of justice. So this completes my presentation, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for wonderful presentation, Mr. Abdullah. And then we will go to the next presentation. Presenter. This is from Dr. Zukime Junoh as a research fellow Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability from University Malaysia Perlis. Yeah, for Dr. Zukime, the time is yours. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for host Engineering Sari from STEKOM University, and thanks to Prof. Abdullah from Pakistan. Very detailed presentation and very excellent point highlighted from the Prof. Abdullah. And also thanks to Dr. Joseph Teguh, Rector, STEKOM University, Indonesia, and all the speakers today contribute and share the knowledge to discuss our important topic today. And most of the discussion, I think, until next year, this topic also continued discussed seriously from the global perspective. I have a strong sense with Prof. Abdullah from Pakistan, and the same point to share with, but different point of view. When I think this topic, because we are facing not only the vulnerable countries, we are facing a vulnerable people. Actually, for the less developed country like Africa, ASEAN country. For example, everybody can compare before the COVID pandemic and after COVID pandemic. There are a lot of big changing in the landscape of the trade, and also, for example, Malaysia. Malaysia, one of the big importer for the agriculture input from other country, around achieve around 70%. So you can imagine how the Malaysia manage the food security to face the challenge and vulnerable climate change, everything, as I mentioned by from Abdullah from Pakistan. Okay, so maybe I want to share my slide because my point, Prof. Abdullah take my point already in the first. Okay, I want to share. Is okay?
Yes, sir. Comfortable.
Okay. Sorry. Today, my strong sense to discuss and review what as mentioned Prof. Abdullah from Pakistan, my same direction and same point with Prof. Abdullah from Pakistan. And I agree with Prof. Abdullah that I mentioned. Currently, we are facing unpredictable economic situation. Okay, so everybody scared about our economic condition now. So whatever situation, I think every country facing the same feeling and critical part of the global food crisis. So I can share first. So the next year maybe our trade become trade growth slow, and next year because a few challenge. Okay, and I also remind again our important points, what he has mentioned, Prof. Abdullah. Okay, world merchandise trade volume is expected to grow to 3.5% in 2020 before slowing in 2023 to 1%. And we look at the world GDP and the market exchange rates will increase, okay, 2.8% by the 2020 is go down to 0.3%, okay. And also we know the current situation now. Trade and output will be weighed down by several related shocks, including the war in Ukraine, as mentioned by Prof. Abdullah, high energy pricing, inflation, and also monetary tightening. And from a Malaysian perspective, Prof. Abdullah, we also facing with high inflation, and also I think the ASEAN country should be more strengthen to the ASEAN collaboration and also the global collaboration and the strong what we call to make sure everyone around the world feeling the safe for the basic need, okay, like food, okay, because our economy up, down, everybody need the food, Abdullah?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, these are basic needs. If this every country need to concern more about food security and what the preparation actually from the our country, Pakistan, like what the prevention action, okay, from our country, what the prevention action from our government, okay, the stability of the policy, very crucial and important for me, because without a strong government policy to solve the G2G collaboration, okay, we cannot achieve our target to solve our problem, as mentioned by Prof. Abdullah from the start. And so there's a similar trend, as I mentioned first the presenter, Prof. Abdullah. Okay, so we can look at all of the trend. Okay. Okay. A few questions. Okay, challenge and opportunity facing a global supply chain. Okay, I think a few questions we need to answer, and need to think together. First, how long will the bottleneck, shortage, and delay afflicting global supply chain persist? And which challenge are due to transitory imbalance, and which are structural? Or what are implications for inflation and economic stability? We need to answer. Next, what do importer, exporter, trading companies, logistic providers need from government and international organization? Actually, for example, as mentioned by Prof. Abdullah, World Food Program, we cannot depend 100% to the NGO. Government need play important role to make sure all the ecosystem in our economy and also trade flow between region and in region, among region, to overcome the same problem facing is a current situation. And now, and logistic provider need from a government and an international organization and from each other. Where do opportunities lie to resource sharing and cross-sector collaboration? Regulatory framework fit for purpose. So these a few questions need to be answered. All the not the international body, but all the countries and NGO or government, okay, need to concern about this. And which country and sector group are suffering most from congestion, shortages, and cost increase, and why does this threaten their longer-term participation in global trade? And to what extent can trade facilitation measure reduce friction in the supply chain? When we see the global perspective and the local perspective, we need to the same direction, same vision, and same mission to solve a global problem. At the same time, what the local action from our government to make sure to solve the problem, and also what the best policy and can be choose, as I mentioned by Prof. Abdullah before. I agree, but a certain execution of the policy, I don't see the clear direction. Prof. Abdullah?
Yes, sir.
Maybe,
yes, sir.
yeah, sometimes I don't see any clear direction. We have a good policy, we have a good everything, but we don't have any precise and also a tangible KPI for regional to take action what the best to serve our society, because when we are discuss about global, so we are facing the same problem. Okay.
Yes.
So as unstable of the trade, everything. So global supply chain challenge and export transformation. Okay, we know everybody know about COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, worsening climate impact. Okay, reverberating economic shock have shown just how deeply interconnected countries, how global crisis hit the world most vulnerable community. Okay, and we see that more than 820 million people. Okay, as I mentioned by Abdullah, a bit hungry every night. There's a number of facing food insecurity. So in the face of global crisis, global solutions are needed more than ever, where we can transform the agri-food system and build for better by implementing sustainable and holistic solutions that consider development in the long term, inclusive economic growth and greater resilience. Okay, so my point is a strong sense on the every country need to have G2G, a strong collaboration, and also international NGO and the local NGO need to together the same direction. Today I don't want to explain more because my point, Abdullah explained already, but I want to discuss the main point, what from my heart, not from a slide, so that we can understand the real problem in terms of macroeconomic perspective and macroeconomic perspective. Macroeconomic perspective, how the firms survived before, during pandemic and after endemic. Now in the trade, okay, because the price cost in the logistic now increasingly tremendously lately, not because of the currency factor, maybe the costly about the space, okay, the space of the logistic freight, maybe a few factors affected to the pricing and inflation. And one of the transformation of the world trade will present new challenge and opportunity. In order to reap the new opportunity, the poorest and most community-dependent country will need to make sustained effort to improve their business climate. Okay, advanced country will also have to retrain the age of innovation and product differentiation. Okay, while domestic reform are key, international rules will have to be strengthened to make trade more open and predictable. So countries that fail to adapt to the transformation of world trade will not only miss opportunity, but will also find firm in their tradable sector under attack from both low-end and cost-based competitors and rapid innovators. And it's some of a point of view and the priority of the global company. So some point I highlight here. Okay, company facing very struggle to survive, okay, during pandemic and after pandemic. Okay, they need to realign the business direction and also what a sector need to change and focus to make sure the companies can sustain to the next 3 or 5 years. So the challenge for the I highlight also. I want to not. I don't want to discuss detail, but the challenge is only to the micro perspective and also macro perspective. So we need to take care and what the value chain evolve, and also what the approach can be chosen in terms of the companies, okay, and to survive for the next after pandemic. Okay, I take the form of case study and also explained by Prof. Abdullah also transformation trend. Before that, Ukraine as a agri-food export, a main exporter to the Africa, okay, Libya, Morocco, Tunisia, I'll say. And what happened after the war in Ukraine drive a global food crisis? After that, the chain, our trade trend, okay, when the war in Ukraine, so we are facing a lot of problem, as mentioned by Prof. Abdullah also. So a global food crisis fueled by conflict, climate shock, and the COVID-19 pandemic is growing because the ripple effect of the war in the Ukraine driving rising price of food, fuel, and fertilizer. And people in the report from the global World Food Program, okay, people facing acute food insecurity in 82 countries, okay. And also we look at on the Ukraine also drive record food insecurity, and this data also the trend similar explained by Abdullah the how and the number of people, okay, of acutely food insecure at a high risk. So the global perspective, we need to make sure every country they have food security program and give a strengthen to the policy and what the best action from the short term, middle term, and long term. So the government should play important role to make sure our country can survive, and also food insecurity issue. I think global food crisis, I think we cannot stop until next year. Maybe there maybe next 5 years we can also discuss the same matters about this. But the important thing, the strong point is what the action from the countries, from the international body, and also the local government can contribute to solve the problem. And you know, the global need must be made, okay. So we can you can see that the consumption by region, also global consumption still rise, okay. Not only meat, all the agriculture product also. For example, I can give you all the example in term of Malaysia case, Malaysian case. we have a negative trade, okay, in terms of the import agriculture input, but in the intermediate agriculture processing product, we are positive export to the outside the country. But the challenge is now is our pricing because of cost of logistic, inflation, and so on. So we need to think about this, whether the government and private sector can doing something together to seek this problem and how to solve this problem. Okay, this is a trade intensity as a fallen in China and other developed country, a negative of 8.0. Okay, gross export and imported intermediate input also decline to the negative 4.1. Okay, and I want to touch also about new technologies now. Okay, we cannot left behind of our use of new technology now, and most everybody use digital. Okay, so according to World Bank data, 45.8% of the world is now online. So we can see the different trend about our confidence. We use online transaction. Before pandemic, I think most of the country the internet penetration maybe then lower than after pandemic, because during the pandemic everybody cannot move because to go and other country, they can stay at home, so create the stress for everybody. So we do online meetings, so that change our culture of manage our meeting, and also we cannot say the new technology not contribute global value chain. So new technology also contribute, okay, because now digital communication, okay, we know that low cost, okay, and lowering lowering transaction costs and enabling more trade flow. But the impact of the next generation technology on the global flow of goods and service will not be as simple. And some advanced like digital platform, blockchain, and Internet of Things will continue to reduce transaction and logistic costs. And also now we do webinar, international webinar. So now everybody go to online. So we reduce the cost to go to Indonesia. So Abdullah can stay in Pakistan. I can stay now. I stay in Philippines. Now I have a program, but we can discuss together and through webinar using the digital platform. So the next point is reduce trade flow in the same cases, either by changing the economics allocation of production, by changing the actual goods and service demanded, and digital platform, logistic technologies, and data processing advance will continue to reduce cross-border transaction costs and enable all types of flow in goods producing value chain. Logistic costs can be substantial. So policy to action. So I take from the World Food Program, because I look at the point is very important to share with us. First point, address the current humanitarian needs. Okay, and second, the support a joint global and regional initiative. Third, ensure trade is open. Fourth, invest in strategic development solution. 5, commit to political solution. this solution not only take action by the NGO, international NGO only, but need to take action by our all the government, okay, all the countries, need to engage together with the same international same direction to address on the food security and global supply chain. I think that's all. Thank you for my presentation, and I hope we can discuss through a Q&A session and more valuable input from our presenters and also audience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for wonderful presentation, Dr. Zukime. And then we will go to the last question. I'm sorry, last speaker. This is Mr. Adi Nugroho. Yeah, for Mr. Adi Nugroho, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Novita. Okay, I would like to share my presentation. Okay, okay, thank you for the speaker, Mr. Zukime and Mr. Abdullah. And unfortunately, I'm not economic. I'm came from computer graphic department, and so I would like to discuss about the implementation of digital imaging. So in this case, I'm very specific, not just like Mr. Zukime and Abdullah talking about the microeconomic, but I'm talking about the specific in the agricultural technology. Okay, I would like to start my presentation. Okay, we are starting the food crisis. Food crisis is mostly caused by combination of conflict. Conflict is most problem in that creating a food crisis, and the climate change. Climate change is destroy life, crops, and livelihood. And consequence of COVID-19 is still trying until now, and also because of this almost recession condition that near to global recession, costs are also at a time high. And the climate change, I'm focused on the climate change. Climate change create a food crisis because as you can see in the Africa, 30% region in the wet region is the rainfall is increasing, but it decreasing in the dry region. That's create a big problem in this food production. And unfortunately, 95% African farmers rely on rainfall. So with this condition, it create a more problem. And in some area, we had more rain, not dry, but more rain. Just like Pakistan that it flood in the Augustus that affect many of the Pakistan people. Sudan have 4 years of flooding. Nigeria have a delay on rainfall, but when it rain, it destroy their crop. And in the Latin America, change of flooding almost every year. So climate change have an effect on the production, on the food production. So to be able to fight against the climate change, we need more technical system, more technology to deal with climate change. Because when we are talking about the conventional agriculture, we think about the past time, how we do the agricultural. But now, because the condition has changed, so everything also changed. The weather, the fertilizer, the water, all have to be all have changed. So information technology is very important. We need to create a good agricultural practice based on soil and water management and pest control, and combined with improved access to market to lead improvement in agricultural productivity. For today, the technology is very important, and now it's all developed in further way. Just like as you can see, this is the satellite to detect the weather, to detect the condition of soil, the condition of plantation, and also in small scale, individual can create the technology for their farm. It's called smart farming. It's like this, using drone or using many sensors to create smart farming. And this is the technology, the information and communication technology that already or that came from FAO. As Mr. Zukime said that we are the product on the production of food. We have to together. We have to stick together so we can get the information what we need and what we have, and what where's the fertilizer came from, and which one who have a supply, which one who need a demand. And this is create a, if we have a good system in the communication and information technology in agriculture, we can fight the global and the global food crisis. For example, this is enhancement market access. Sometimes in the process, we have a supply that access our need, so we can, but we don't know how to sell it. So with the technology, with the internet, with the communication, we know where we sell the product and where we can get the product. And also disaster management and early warning system. We can, using the technology, we can detect just like from the satellite, we can see the condition of soil, we can see the what will happen in the future in the condition of soil and agriculture, and share information just like promote environmentally sustainable farming practice. So we can share the technology in the farming and advisory, and by this information we can create a regulatory and policy. And also by this technology, the information and communication technology, we can get financial inclusion, we can create food safety and traceability, and able to build the capacity and empowerment. Okay, this is the example of the smart farming. Now with the technology that available easily, not like maybe about 10 years ago, we have a lot of technology that we can use for the smart farming. For example, this is the process of smart farming. First, we get the data You get the data collection, and then processes in computer, and then from the computer we get the mapping for the process of agriculture process, and then it start the process. So we can create a better better agricultural system, better agricultural process, because we start from the data, start from the research before, and we follow the treatment map as the process of the computer. And this is and this process rely on just like GPS and many sensor and the robotic to create smart farming like this. This is a sample of the using drone to track the farm. Okay. Now I'm specific in my my majority in the digital imaging. Now the technology in the digital imaging is more affordable. The camera is cheaper than previous maybe 10 or 15 years ago. The camera is cheaper and the technology are also smarter. The computer is cheaper and smarter. So we can create technology just like computer vision. Computer vision is a system that using using a camera to capture image, and then the image is sent to the computer and then pre-process and segment and then analyze. This process can give a better result in the detection of the crop. And sometimes it's also added by embedded system to perform a function just like separating the product and etc. and also collecting the data to be able to use in the future. Okay, why digital imaging is useful for agriculture? Because digital imaging is non-destructive analysis for agricultural object. It's different than maybe when we are talking about checking the quality of fruit, and we have to press the fruit. Of course, if we keep pressing the fruit will be defective, will be broken. By the digital imaging, we can detect the quality without touching the product. And also in the digital imaging, we can see something that we cannot see in the human eyes, just like invisible image, just like ultraviolet, near infrared, and infrared. This application image processing technique can be deployed using just like remote sensing and aircraft or satellite that can be processed to determine the next process on the agricultural on the crop and the agricultural. And this is the the process of the implementation image processing in the agricultural. The first one is fruit quality inspection, sort, and grading. This is to improve the quality of fruit and vegetable for classification agricultural product. The second one is for crop management. Crop management, we can do detection on the water treatment and with detection using remote sensing. Identification of nutrient. Nutrient can be detected by the process of digital imaging. And crop and land estimation, we can use a geographic information system from the satellite and color
sir.
and textual segmentation algorithm. Okay, now the first one is fruit and quality inspection. Fruit and quality inspection is designed to improve and maintain quality of fruit in the classification of agricultural product. It usually using machine learning. Machine learning is a process of the computer process using usually is called the convolutional neural network. It's called the deep learning. For example, this is the diagram of quality inspection when the camera start to capture image and then processing it and then enter to the CNN, the convolutional neural network, the process of deep learning, and the result of this is creating the quality assessment. This process create a decision that is it okay or is it good or is it rotten. This is the example. And in the development, there's something called separator. If we use embed system, use technology just like robotic or mechanism that can separate which one is good and which one is bad. This is the scheme. The object will be detect and compare with many sample of image that become a master, become the master for determine is it a good or is it a bad one. And then by the detection process, the system will decide is it right, is it or is it not. And this is the process. And if you want to see the result, because actually many have many factory has used this method, but when you look at the YouTube, there is a video from the Amazon Fresh that they implement this process. So the computer will decide which one is bad, which one is good. And this is very important in the food processing because when we deliver a rotten product to customer, and the customer will throw it away in the garbage bag. It will be useless. But if in the process we can see there is something that's not good, we can separate it and recycle it. We can make it to be a secondary product, or maybe we can use it in the cattle food, or maybe just turn into fertilizer. So this method will eliminate the food waste in the process, the food waste in the consumer side. This is the technological and the digital imaging application in the output in the agricultural output. But what can we do in the process? In the process, digital imaging can be used in the crop management, just like irrigation and nutrient deficiency, identification of nutrient deficiency, and crop and land estimation. This is based on the character of the leaf. The character of the leaf, that leaf will reflect the same image. The stressed leaf will reflect something that different than the dead leaf when it get the sun, when it get the sun, it reflect uh, different spectral image. For the healthy leaf, the near infrared is high. For the stress leaf is a little bit lower, and the dead leaf is close to the other. So this characteristic is used for the process called the NDVI, or Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. This is called, for some people call it image density of the image of density of the vegetation density. This is designed to measure the greenness of the surface and provide automatic way to monitor the progress of the crop, and it's held through the growing season. The advantage of NDVI is it can be fly by drone. It can be applied in the satellite, so we can detect wider area. We can do a comparison between which one is good, which one is bad, which one is have better growth, which one is less fertilized, using this method. So where we can get the NDVI? First, this is the explanation of the NDVI. This is the example of the healthy vegetation. Healthy vegetation will reflect near infrared and less red color. But when we meet the stress vegetation, it will reflect less infrared, near infrared, but more in red. So the process calculation is like this. And this will give NDVI value between 0 and 1. Okay, this is the graphical of the image of the reflection of healthy leaf versus dry leaf. Now, healthy grass and dry grass. This is the wavelength of the image. This area is what we can see in the image, and in the what we can see is called visible spectrum image, and at here is called near infrared invisible image. And this is we can see that the healthy vegetation will reflect a lot of invisible light or near infrared than the stress vegetation. So how can we get the NDVI? NDVI for the government process, we can get it in from the satellite. It's free. It came usually from USPS, the satellite from America. It's called Landsat, where they provide the NDVI for for free for us to use. This is the example of NDVI in the Semarang. As you can see, we can compare the vegetation in the previous year and in the recent year. This is we can see in the dense vegetation is shown in the darker green, and without vegetation will be white. Also from the camera, from the satellite, we can also get the land and soil temperature, so we can detect which area hotter than which one is hotter, which one is colder. But the problem of the NDVI is NDVI via satellite is have a huge coverage. It has a huge coverage. So when we are talking about want to detect the growth of our farm, this maybe cannot be used because the resolution of image is too small if we want to see our land. So NDVI now developed in the smaller scale by using a camera, special camera. Well, actually it's not a special camera because it's a modified camera, and I ever joined this project for many times, supplying the camera for the researcher. This is an example of how to imply the NDVI in the food agriculture. This is the green, the visible light. This is what we see. This is what you see. It's a green. It's a green. And if we detect from this, we can see that the thickest the thickest green, I guess this is the healthy one. This is the healthy one. But when we see the reflection in the infrared, near infrared color, and process using the process called fast color NDVI, we can see that this part, that this is looks healthy, is not really healthy. The healthy one is the thickest red in here. And if we compare to this image, we can see that this is looks usual. It looks better in here. So using the NDVI, we can detect the growth, the quality of plant, quality of crop better than we use our standard eyes. And this is the example of NDVI, the modified NDVI, modified camera NDVI. This is the land and the grass. As you can see, this is very low. But in here, the density of the leaf creating a higher color spectrum. And this we can see that in here is the vegetation is better than at here. NDVI in the technology can be implemented in the complex way, just like this. We can use drone, fly in the camera, using a wireless system, using IoT technology. We can put just like altimeter to detect the height. We can put the GPS to geotagging and other technology just like barometer to detect the pressure. And also this image can be processed real time using the computer by the wireless technology. This is called the embedded system. So the camera will connect to other technology to create full information data of the agricultural, of the agriculture and of the crop taken picture by the camera. This is the example of the result. But this technology maybe looks too expensive, maybe. For some people, this is maybe expensive, and many of the plantation develop this process, and maybe some are buying this technology. But actually, if we want just to make NDVI in our field, this is the example of my NDVI using my camera, my modification, and I don't have a drone, so I climb to the area that higher that high. This is I use Moscow Moscow Tower. This is Moscow Tower. For I remember I use Moscow Tower, so I can take a picture of the rice field. From this, we can see the useful of the NDVI. This is not plant; it's still a water. It's a rice field, and this is still a water. As you can see, this is not no vegetation, and this is the rice field that already already growth, and this is the with the start planting for the rice field, and this area is a rice field that already full. Now we can see the growth. This area have a thickness, have a density more than this, and this is start to grow, and this is a little grow, and this is a full grow, and this is a different vegetation that provide more reflection, because this is thicker plant, thicker vegetation. And this is not an expensive process, because this is using just using open source image processing, and this is also the example using Python and OpenCV. So this NDVI can be used for nitrogen management. This can see deficiency of nitrogen, because if nitrogen deficiency will be create stress in crops. And we can see the biomass and yield prediction. Yield prediction from the NDVI can be detected by data, by correlation axis between NDVI value taking during early vegetation growth stage until the final yield. I see there is a lot of research and try to create NDVI for paddy, and try to create NDVI for a special plantation plan. So we can determine which this is good or this is not good, and compare to the previous data. And for disease detection, by detection using NDVI, it's possible to detect the crop stress because of disease or environment factor. When we see the NDVI is start to break to turn into worse condition, we can start to do the action without having to wait it spread out into the other part of field. We can directly to the suspect zone. This is the area of the bad condition, and we do maybe just like destroying the crop, or maybe do some treatment, so we don't need to wait everything get disease. And NDVI for irrigation is this determine the education requirement, efficiency, and timing, because you can see by the NDVL value that correlated, so we can create just like correlated analyze, so we can estimate how much the correct watering for the crop. But there is a downside from the NDVI. NDVI is depend on the sun, depend on the reflection of the light of the sun. So the result between the condition in the morning and the full day is maybe different, and also NDVI between one tree and the other are different. As you can see in my image, this is different, but that doesn't mean this is unhealthy, but this is healthy, because this is a different different vegetation. Different vegetation will create a different NDVI. So it's very important to create just like correlation data, so we can understand the growth, the condition of the one type of the crop, not together. Yeah, and also maybe for only a few plant doesn't reflect the near infrared. It's not suitable for all crop. Okay, this is the conclusion. Image processing is also important in the agricultural sector. By this technology, we can do non-destructive process to analyze the plantation, and by this technology we can control, and we can be more efficient in the process of growing of the agricultural process. Okay, I guess that's all for I return to Miss Novita.
Thank you for Mr. Adi Nugroho for the wonderful presentation. And then we will go to the next session. This is time for Q&A session for our audience. If you wanna ask question, you can raise your hand or you can write in room chat. Thank you. Okay, we have a first question in a raised hand from Mr. Henki. For Mr. Henki, the time is yours. Thank you. Levi. Yeah, for Mr. Henki. Okay, I will maybe.
Okay, thank you for the chance. Just now is mute. I think it is a very interesting topic. My question is there any challenge for the farmer who didn't know the technology very well? I only guessing. Is that so, or is there any suggestion? This first question. Maybe after responding, I give another question. Thank you.
Who will answering first?
Okay, maybe I will start to answer. Maybe I start to to capture the question from Mr. Henki is about technology of farming. Is it right? About the technology implementation in farming.
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. Yes.
Okay, and the implementation technology in farming, there's two sides maybe. There's two sides. First, we are talking about the implementation and how to create a better farm, and how to transfer the result of the farm. Maybe I will talking about the technology in the farming, just like what I speak before. I'm talking about the drone, the plane, the drone that detect the condition, the plantation, and from this we can see if it good or not. So we can add the fertilizer or add the extra maybe maintenance or extra water or maybe reduce water from the image, from the NDVI image, and that but the technology in the farming. But there's a lot of technology other, just like maybe in the transporting, in the communication. Maybe this communication is very important, but because when we produce something that too much and we can sell it, it will be useless. So technology is not only in the agricultural but also in the process of in the global process of the food production.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Can I add
Okay, please, Mr. Presenter.
a point?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to answer in terms of the regarding on your question, technology and farmers. Okay. All the farmers are very old.
That's right.
Okay. So we need to identify what the main problem and the main issue facing by farmers. Okay. There are technology facing on they are not using efficiently on the technology. My suggestion is for the farmers, okay, private sector or industrial need to lead and set up the contract farming with the farmer and guide them to the technology. Okay. In that sense, the farmer can follow the standard of the IoT technology. Everything, what technology do I introduce? My strong sense in need to guide by private sector or government or agency to do some program, technology awareness, okay, among the farmers, and how technology can improve the productivity and also all the ecosystem, okay, or contribute to the productivity and regarding to the food security program. Thank you.
Okay, that's very nice to hear your response. Maybe I have not the second another part of a question behind the technology. I saw last PowerPoint is all about the GPS. So GPS is all about the internet. So my question is, how a farmer can use the technology? Let's say if they are trained well and then they can make it. But sometimes, as we know, sometimes we are teaching also, we are a lecturer, but the student have a problem with the internet transmission. My question is how to settle down regular or common problem. Thank you.
Okay, maybe it's about my presentation. So I would like to answer first. Again, I'm agree with Mr. Zukime because whatever technology, if the farmer cannot handle it, it's useless too. So it's important to make a join or join or maybe a just like what is kemitraan in Indonesia, maybe where
Partnership,
yeah fellowship, sorry. Partnership, okay, between the high between the big big industrial farming and the
Yeah.
small farming, and that's create a better technology and better technology understanding in the small scale because just like Indonesia or maybe Malaysia or maybe in the Pakistan, the farmer is smaller, is small, it's a small farming. It's not like in the USA that a farmer have a very large area. In Indonesia, maybe when people maybe only have a 1 hectare or 2 hectare and they already create a rice.
Yes, a small scale, small scale
Yes.
production.
Small
Yes.
scale, to small scale maybe if we compare to USA or maybe just like Ukraine, they also use technology, heavy class technology. I see they use a machine, and well in Indonesia we use a plate to cut the rice. And about the internet, first GPS is not internet. GPS is coordinate, coordinate, coordinate is to coordinate the position. It's called Q position. But about the internet, if we are talking the right now in Indonesia, I guess the internet is already spread out and is available in almost everywhere. Only the problem is, can he use it? Can the farmer use it? Nah, that's the problem. Maybe we can make an application. Application is very important maybe for teaching the how to plant the better, how to do hydroponic, how to do uh, remote sensing, how to do uh, infrared, just like NDVI, just like what I present. But can the odd farmer understand that? That's the problem. Even there's internet, there's still maybe they still cannot understand it. So internet is very important for fast data transmission. But maybe even if we don't have internet, but we have somebody who came to teach, is maybe is still okay. And that's why in the we are talking about the agriculture. Agriculture is a slow process. We are not talking about the banking. Then banking we need a fast internet. We need a fast transfer data. We need but in the farming, maybe slow internet is still okay. But the most important is how to teach the older farmer to adapt with the new technology. Okay, that's my answer.
Okay, thank you. Please go on.
Maybe from Mr. Abdullah or Mr. Zukime, you will answering or no? Okay. Yeah, from Mr. Henki, you will have another question again.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Henki. And then this is the first question in a room chat. This is question for Mr. Abdullah. This is from Mr. Amin Tohari. How solution about the global food supply has a demand problem, especially among Russia and Ukraine in the country?
Your question is mentioned in chat box.
Yes, this is question for Mr. Abdullah.
Question to Mr. Abdullah from
Amin Tohari.
Tohari, I want to ask question about how solution about the group has, especially among Russian Ukraine country, right? The straightforward solution is that the intensity of war or eventually the war should be stopped as fast as we can. This is the straightforward approach. But unfortunately, things are not so much straightforward. So I think all the influential people of the globe should play their role to stop the ongoing war, realize the severe consequences of the war on remaining world, look at the situation from a humanitarian point of view. Uh, for a few periods, they should forgive the political issues or other issues for the sake of humanity. This is the only way forward.
Okay, thank you for clear answering from Mr. Abdullah. And then we have another question in a raised hand, Miss Haryani. Yeah, for Miss Haryani, the time is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the time given for me. So sorry, is my voice clear?
Yeah, clear.
All right. Yeah, let me ask you. I'm Haryani from Politeknik Bumi Akali Semarang, Central Java. This is my what is it? It is an honor for me to hear many new knowledge, yeah, related with the technology, relating with the farming, sophisticated technology in farming. Even though my background of study is not related with this one, but I'm really happy to know to open my mindset about this technology. My question may be addressing to Mr. Adi Nugroho, related with the maybe also related with a question from Mr. Henki from the previous one. The use of technology for farmer. As we know that our young generation, yeah, millennial generation, yeah, we cannot see, or we are rarely see the young generation live in the village or in the farming area. They tend to work or look for a job in a big city or capital city. So we can see only for old people who stay in the village or create the farming itself. As you know, the technology is near with the young generation. Yeah, this is contradictive when we see there is no young generation in the village, but you emphasize us to train the farmer itself. So it will be very hard. Do you have any other idea to solve these problems in our common community, especially in village? Thank you, Mr. Adi.
Okay. Again, it's also just like what Mr. Zukime said. It's about if we want to train the farmer, we need to make it a creative or interest. And how to make it interest is using a big company, using a partnership from the big agricultural business. Maybe as you can see in the camera, I ever sell 4 camera like this for the plantation. For the infrared, you see in the image is I sell it on the plantation, on the if I'm not forget Bengkulu, and there is another Bengkulu again. He want buy another more to place on the throne, and so actually the one who use the technology is big farming, big plantation. So if we want to transfer the technology to the small farmer, is a partnership. We need to create a partnership and make the industry, the farming industry, is more attractive. It's make the farming industry more attractive for the young people. How it attractive? If it create a higher result and less working. Higher result and less working because maybe I have a friend. This is I will tell a story, and he said that I want to be a farmer. He is a farmer because I ever work in the factory. In the factory, actually, working in the factory is came from the 8 to 8 to 4 p.m. 8 morning to 4 p.m. But have a less result. Then he managed his rice field, his paddy field. So actually, be a farmer uh, is not a bad idea. It have a good result. But and when we look at the young people become a farmer, maybe they feel shame. So the first, to transfer the technology, we need somebody who guide the farmer to adapt the technology. Usually it came from the big company and maybe the government and maybe the university. The universities also have a big role in the process like this because the research the research like this is usually run by university, and I think the NDVI is a very intensive use in the India. In Indonesia, not there's not a lot of paper in Indonesia, but in India is a lot of application in this technology. So university should also able to train, to transfer technology to farmers too. So there is a lot of site to handle this, to do the education, just like the government, just like the partnership with a big farming company, and also the university, the education institution. Okay, that's my answer.
Can I add something?
Okay, please, Mr. Zukime.
I have also the background in IT, and also I have some practical issue on that matters. Okay, we need to understand the foundation of the issue now, and we need to understand the ecosystem. And Dr. Hadi explained to us the ecosystem, the role must to be played by the university as a research center, private sector or industry. Big company can lead the technology commercialization, and also government give as any incentive to the farmers and to involve in the ICT in the right direction. For example, for my research, okay, the small farmer, farmer skill cannot be used the smart precision farming below than a 5 acre land. So at least minimum, the farmer need to use a 5 acre to use IoT technology. The minimum less than 5 acre, you cannot get the ROI, return on investment.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Because it's also expensive technology.
Yeah. So
Mm.
the farmer can doing things need to do, whether they are to fulfill the income for the family, and at the same time to think the technology. No, cannot. We need to assist them, for all the farmers. And okay, for example, the youngest farmers, we can train them use drone, drone, and can use the drone as to serve the fertilizer in the farming, and they cover all the management of farm. And the final say is we need to understand the whole ecosystem, how the awareness and technology can increase our productivity in terms of our technology, and advanced technology can be used, and engagement all the parties to get to achieve our objective. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Abdullah, you want to say something?
Please allow me to leave, as I have another class and the students are waiting for me.
Ah, okay.
If there's any,
It's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you
Okay,
so
okay.
much for your participation, Mr. Abdullah.
and
We hope we can meet again in another event. Thank
sure,
you.
it is a point of pride for me to join this webinar representing my country, my university, and again, it is a very significant topic for which we all should put joint efforts.
Thank you, Prof. Abdullah. I
Thank
like
you,
your
Abdullah.
presentation today.
Okay.
And also
Thank you
Dr.
very
Adi.
much. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. Yeah. Okay, udah deh. Okay, and we will go to the next question. This is for question for Mr. Adi and also Mr. Zukime. This is from Ms. Sukamto. Next year, many countries are predicted to experience a recession, especially big country will experience a food crisis. Is there any preparation to deal with this? Because I am currently studying in England and I'm worried about this. This is question from Ms. Sukamto. Thank you.
Okay, I will start it first. Okay, maybe about the food scarcity, food crisis. It's important for this is my opinion, because I'm not economic. Maybe Mr. Zukime will be better in this explanation. I'm a technician. I'm a computer digital imaging. Okay, but I try to answer that. This is what we do to deal with this is we need to collaborate. Maybe just like Malaysia and Indonesia. So if we have a scarcity on the rice, maybe we can buy for Malaysia. We can transfer the food between closing area in Southeast Asia. We can have a free trade for, and maybe information what we need and what we have, it can be transferred fast, so we can protect our food need. Maybe now I let Mr. Zukime maybe can give a much better answer in the economic side.
Okay. I want to add one point. Okay. In economy perspective, okay, we are concerned on the less developed countries. The developed countries like German, Europe, US, they have good technologies, and the level of the technology readiness level is very there are stage to achieve the state of commercialization, and compare with our less developed country like our developed country like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. They're still using the traditional way to produce the productivity. The important thing is how the engagement between the big company involved in the agriculture sectors can lead the way how set up the program with the farmers in the ecosystem, So they can learn how the technology can improve productivity on the marketing, on the side, on the technology, science and technology, on the breed, on technology. So the farmer understand the whole ecosystem, how technology can improve our productivity. Now we can educate them through the good collaboration with among the stakeholders, okay, to make sure local farmers and they know how to increase, and they have a proper training for the from the young generation and that's coming the generation, how they can continue they are from the small scale to produce a big scale to get the economic scale in long term. Thank you. I think answer the from my way.
Thank you so much for Dr. Zukim. And the next question. This is question from audience in a YouTube. This is from Miss Diah Rakmi. How to deal with this situation relate to the condition of shortage of food stocks. I'm sorry. And what about the champion launching relate to the jargon of rice storage and energy?
Can you write the question on the room chat, on the chat?
Iya, yang paling bawah, Pak.
Oh, paling bawah.
Sorry, I have another meeting. So can I leave the session now, or I would like to thanks all everybody.
Okay.
It's okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay.
I am really sorry, but I like this topic, and we can discuss the next webinar for the next event. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Dr. Zukim.
Yes,
Yeah,
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah, maybe for Mr. Adi, you can raise answering because this is question for Mr. Adi Nugroho.
Okay, how to deal with this situation related to shortage of food stock and the rice storage and energy. Okay, maybe when we are talking about the food stock, our food stock is not very good, but in rice we already surplus. We already a surplus in rice is what is government say. What is government say that we are already surplus in rice. But sometimes the rice is missing. Okay, this is what is the problem of this? This is the problem is maybe in the storage, because we have unbalanced. Maybe sometimes we do crop, we do plant together, and we do cropping, the harvesting the products together, so everything go too much, and then suddenly no one plant the rice, and the rice is not available, and this very important for us to maybe to maintain the food stock. In Indonesia, there's a bullock, but maybe bullock is not run very well. But I don't know. I'm not economic in this. I'm afraid that I make a wrong answer. But if we compare if you want to see in the internet or something, if you want to see how European people store their grain and how Indonesia people store the rice, is so different. They use technology to be able to keep the rice in the along to keep the grain, their terigu, their grain in a very long time. But in Indonesia, maybe you want it a rice that already stored in the 6 month. It will taste bad if you eat too long rice in the storage. So maybe if when we are talking about the food stock and food storage, maybe we need to improve the technology in the uh, in the keeping of in the keeping of the result and the harvesting rice in the result of the plantation. Okay, that's my answer.
Thank you so much for Mr. Adi Nugroho. And I guess no one else asking again. May I continue to another to next session? This is for take a picture. Yeah, so for Miss Febri, you can handle it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Novita. For those who haven't activated the camera, you can activate the camera or open camera so we can take photos together. Okay, let me confirm. 1, 2, 3. Once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. I will return the event to Miss Novita.
Okay, thank you for Miss Febri. Finally, we come to the end of webinar today. We would like to say thanks again for all the speakers for their wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our audience, and I hope we can meet again in another event in the future. Yeah, also I would like to thanks all for all participants for attending this webinar and making this even more interesting. At least we hope to have more collaboration in the future with the Karachi University and also University Malaysia Perlis. This webinar for today ends here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you and see you and goodbye. Have a nice day. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Thank you so much for all participants. Thank you untuk para peserta yang belum absen bisa absen terlebih dahulu. Terima kasih. Mbak Ojo di live sih. Gue ada pengen ngomongin anu wis live onge. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, I think that's enough for today's event. Thank you. Good afternoon. Have a good rest. Bye-bye.